What's up everyone, it's Caddy with Money Vesting. So here with another video and a live stream. We are now finally closing in on the week. Today is the last trading day of the week. Not to mention that we've got the jobs report, which is the first Friday of the month. So we got the jobs report coming out today. Let me know in the live chat if you guys can see the screen, if you guys can hear me without any issues. So Key, welcome on board. Good morning, good morning. Let me know in the live chat if you guys can see me and if you guys can hear the screen. We're going to go over that. We got about 15 minutes left for the jobs report to come out. We'll go over some of the expectations and we'll go over everything that we need to know. So welcome on board, Pedro, Quinn, everybody, welcome on board. Greetings from Hong Kong. Shout out to Hong Kong. Ryan, thank you so much for joining in. So the NASDAQ future is higher today. So this right here is the NASDAQ up over 36 basis points with the Dow down about 5 basis points. And the S&P is up over 8 basis points. We're seeing the NASDAQ, which is going to be tech heavy, a little bit higher. Michael, welcome on board. I'm doing well. The last 48 hours have actually been very exhausting for me. I'm running on very low sleep, so just ready to wrap up the week, so to speak, and of course, just really ready for the long weekend, right? So this is perhaps like the first time in a long time I'm actually excited to get some break, get some rest, and kind of do this again next week on Tuesday. But I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves and staying healthy, staying safe wherever you guys are. So shout out to Saudi Arabia. Thank you so much for joining in. We only rest when we make money. That's true. That's true. This week has been decent, right? It hasn't been that bad. This week has actually been really good so far. So just ready to close out the week stronger and finish up. And of course, with Monday being a holiday, would not be surprised if we do get a little bit higher volume and volatility in the markets. So I'll let some few more people join. And actually, perfect design, that's a great question. We're also getting Tesla delivery numbers very soon, so I have that open here. So we'll kind of reload this to see if there's any updates on the Tesla delivery numbers for the second quarter, right? So we'll kind of continue to monitor that. So Didi, well, actually there's a few stocks that are on my watch list for the weekend. So Didi is one of them, Robinhood is another one, and there's another one that Mark mentioned, ticker symbol S. I'm going to be doing a lot of fundamental analysis on those companies and kind of put out videos on what my thoughts are and opinions are for Didi's valuation. There was a news piece that came out this morning, and we're seeing more regulation from the CCP, more scrutiny. So this right here, Didi shares fall after China announces cybersecurity review just days after IPO, right? So shares of Didi fell after China announced a cybersecurity review of the ride-hailing company, and based in China had its IPO on Wednesday, and shares fell as much as 8% pre-market Friday morning after China, where the company is based, announced a cybersecurity review of the company. According to an English translation of China's announcement, new users will not be able to register for Didi's ride-hailing service during the country's cybersecurity review. So, of course, if there's no more people joining the ecosystem to drive, there's going to be less demand for the actual service, and that is perhaps why Didi is down once again pre-market. Getting a little bit of a breakdown here. But nonetheless, this right here is going to be the jobs reports. We're going to break this down very quickly. So jobs growth likely will look stronger in June report as companies scramble to find workers. So the expectation here is economists expect non-farm payrolls grew by 706,000 jobs in June, and the unemployment rate to fell to 5.6% from 5.8%. That right there is the headline number. That's the expectation according to Dow Jones, and we know that we added roughly about 560,000 jobs in the month of May, even though we were expecting a little bit over 1 million. So again, coming in much lower than the expectation in the month of May. Average hourly earnings are expected to have jumped 0.3 or roughly 30 basis points in the month of June over May, and on a year-over-year basis, we've actually seen that number go up by a lot, right? 3.6% in terms of wage growth or average hourly earnings growth from the labor market because of the imbalance, right? The imbalance being more jobs available, less people available or going back into the workforce. So if there's not enough people, employers and companies are willing to pay them more for the same amount of work to attract them to to work for them, right? Because there's a shortage of actual labor, but there's not a shortage of jobs. So after an increase of 1.98% in May. All right, so that right there is going to be the quick report here. This right here is going to be the actual jobs report for the month of May, and this is going to update at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, right? So we got about 12 minutes left for the data to come out. So again, 559,000 jobs added in the month of May. This right here is going to be the total private employment. So 492,000 were actually private, and between goods and services, the service sector is actually growing at a much faster rate when it comes to the labor market, right? So 556,000 jobs added versus goods producing jobs were only 3,000 employment change month over month. And most of the jobs coming in from education, health services, and leisure and hospitality, again being the big driver for employment. Roughly 300,000 jobs added in the month of May. And all the other ones were roughly 23,000 manufacturing, 19,000 wholesale trade. Retail trade actually went down, so 5,800. Transportation, warehousing, roughly 20,000 there. Utilities went down 200. Information went up 29,000. Financial services down about 1,000. Professional business services up over 35,000, and then we already covered these two big numbers. Leisure hospitality up over 292,000. That makes up majority, like almost over 50% of the number there for the month of May. So this is what we're gonna break down at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. The unemployment rate, which is gonna be over here. So unemployment rate right now sits at 5.8%, and again the expectation is for us to come down to 5.6%, right? So 5.6% is gonna be the number that they're all expecting for the unemployment rate to come down. And this right here is actually what the Federal Reserve is actually going to be very focused on, and that is going to be the employment population ratio. This goes over different sort of ethnicities and races, and that's what Federal Reserve calls substantial further progress. When you look under the hood, what exactly is driving employment, and what they really need is for all different sort of ethnicities and races to actually move up in participation and employment, right? It's not just this number. So 5.6%, 5.8% is great, but the Federal Reserve is more focused on making sure that everyone is actually participating and moving up when it comes to the employment versus the population. So if you were to take a look at it, women 20 years and over, 54% participation. Men at 20 years and over, 65%, right? So over 10% more than women over 20% or more. We got Black African Americans over 55%. We got Hispanics up, Asians up over 59%, and this right here is going to be, let's take a quick look, Hispanics over 60.5%, right? So that's what they're looking for to drive that number even higher. So that's going to be very important for us to take a quick look on that as well. And this right here is actually going to be number of unemployed persons per job opening. So during the March 2020 pandemic, when the unemployment rate peaked at close to over 14.8%, so we were roughly at 14.8% here, this number actually went all the way up to 5. So what that really represents is that there's 5 people unemployed per one job opening, right? So if there's one job opening, there's 5 people unemployed for it. And right now we're sitting at 1.1, so that's good. That's a really good ratio. We want that number ideally under 1. So back in June 2019, even back in February 2020, we were under 1, so we were trading at 0.8. That really means that for every one job available, there's 0.8 person that's unemployed. So that's actually really good. So we want less. The less this number is, the better it is for the economy and the labor market. All right, so 5 things to know before the market opens today. We already covered economists expect 706,000 jobs to be added in June. Robinhood files for a highly anticipated initial public offering. So IPO, I'll be covering that over the weekend. I'll put a video out on the valuation, what my expectations are from the IPO moving forward. This again, Virgin Galactic, SPCE stock is up over 27, I think 28% the last time I checked, because Richard Branson is going to be doing the 4th test flight going into space on July 11th, and he's actually going in 9 days earlier than Jeff Bezos, who is also launching on July 20th, which is very, very interesting. And Toyota Motors actually beating GM for the first time in deliveries and sales in the first time in a quarter. So this was for the second quarter. Let's take a quick look on Tesla, if they have anything here for the delivery numbers. If not, we're going to switch over to our TradingView chart, so nothing here so far. All right, so the NASDAQ ETF up over 38 basis points, and we got the Dow Jones about down 2 basis points, and the S&P up over 10 basis points. So a quick look on the stocks here. NIO down about 29 basis points. Tesla is up over 37. AMD is up over 11 basis points, back over 93.40. And this right here is going to be Palantir up over 65 basis points. We also added some Palantir yesterday on weakness, because yesterday's catalyst, we talked about it during our live stream. It's not a big deal. Cathie Wood selling 700,000 shares, or close to 710, whatever that number is. It is not even a catalyst. Like, it's less than 3% of her portfolio of her entire holdings in Palantir, when she owns over 28 million shares between her 2 ETFs. So it's just a rebalancing effect. It's only freeing up some capital to take advantage of other opportunities. So I think Palantir's yesterday's weakness was simply based out of this fear that Cathie Wood sold 700,000 shares. So other than that, they actually did extend their partnership with another company for 2 additional years. So I think that was a good catalyst for the company as well. Bitcoin still down about 1.7%, trading under $33,000 once again. And this right here is the downtrending channel, lower highs and lower lows. Talking quickly about Ethereum, and then I'll jump over to the live chat to take any questions. So this right here is the resistance at 2300. So we talked about it in our market update, and we're back down about 3% for Ethereum, and this resistance coming into fruition once again. So next support sits roughly at 1715. Not sure if you're gonna see a pullback all the way down to that low, but this resistance once again coming in handy because it's previously acted as a support, previously also acted as a resistance here and here. So we are seeing a little bit of a pullback for Ethereum. Keep a close eye on the VIX and the VXN. So VXN trading roughly at 20. And we got the VIX down about almost 2%, trading as low as 15.17. All right, so let's just jump over to the live chat. That was a quick market update for everything that we're looking forward to and everything that we are watching today. People pulling profits on Didi. Let's take a quick look. So Didi Catalyst we broke down earlier, very early in the live stream, so you can actually go back and watch the analysis on why Didi stock is going down. So only because there's a cybersecurity review from China that's actually taking place that's going to limit or restrict new users to join Didi's ecosystem or register to the platform. So that's only going to drive that's going to materially impact their future revenue, right? So if there's less drivers driving on Didi's app, then there's going to be less people basically using Didi as an application to find rides. So, all right, say Rade, thank you so much for posting that. That right there is the catalyst for Didi. So, yep, China Cyberspace Administration said on Friday it has launched a new investigation into ride-hailing giant Didi Global Inc. to protect national security and public interest, which is quite interesting, right? 2 days after the IPO, like, why would they do that and announce it 2 days after the IPO? I mean, this is like, you can't make these things up. It's just really interesting, but down about 10%. And again, this is on my watch list for fundamental analysis over the weekend, and I will put a video out on this as well. All right, let's take a quick look here. So hello from Singapore. Thank you so much for joining in. Perfect Design, welcome to the channel here. Thank you for joining. So we got about 5 minutes, roughly 4 minutes left for the jobs report to come out. We're gonna keep the analysis on this. We'll see how the markets actually react to it. And then I'll have Bloomberg open as well, and we'll break down the actual numbers. What do you guys think? Are we going to see jobs report actually be higher or lower than the expectations? So Perfect Design, what is your views on SPCE? So let's take a quick look. Virgin Galactic. So it's starting to pull back a little bit. So we did see a spike all the way to, let's go over to the 1 minute chart. So we did see a spike all the way to highs of $59 per share, right? That was a pretty steep push higher from $43. That was a jump of over 36%. And now we're starting to see a little bit of weakness from Virgin Galactic. We're down over 11% from those highs. So it's kind of hard to say where that price action is going to be moving forward. But just going over to the 4-hour chart, you'll notice that both times, like even yesterday, you'll notice that we did see a lot of weakness for the stock. Like we did rally all the way to 61, then we saw a lot of profit taking down about 29%. So it's kind of hard to judge if we're going to see some more momentum carry us over. It really depends on the volume if that comes in to Virgin Galactic stock, right? So I think that's going to be the most important thing. But there is going to be some resistance here, or there has been some resistance at close to this $60 level. Because that's exactly where we got rejected here, coming in from like February 8th, February 9th. If we go over to the 4-hour chart, you'll notice that we are getting rejected almost exactly at that resistance. So this is a resistance coming in from here. So I would watch that level very closely. SoFi as well. So Fang, thank you so much for reminding me. Actually, you know what? I'm going to create a new watch list. So I'm going to make a new watch list. Ooh, advanced view. What is this? Wow, I didn't even know this was available on TradingView. I think they just launched it. This is pretty cool. So you can actually have a pie chart for your watch list. So public list. Oh, you can share that as well. Wow, this is going to be a huge addition to our Patreon members. Wow, this is interesting. I can share the link to my watch list. This is amazing. This is amazing. Can I switch? Oh, so it shows the earnings as well for the companies. This is pretty cool. Yeah, so that's actually going to be a huge addition. I'm just going to add a quick note here. All right, so just give me 1 second. Alright, so I'm going to make a quick watch list on the stocks that we're going to be looking into. Actually, let me go over to the market updates here very quickly because we've got the jobs report coming out in less than 1 minute. And then I'll do like fundamental analysis on all those different companies. So unemployment rate will be dropped slightly below estimates. All these claims this week were lesser than expectations. Yeah, so that is kind of like the analysis, right? For the jobless claims numbers, which were down, and for the actual unemployment rate to come in much lower than expectations, and the jobs added in the month of June to be higher than expected as well. All right, so we're gonna turn on Bloomberg and see if there's any news here.
I'm David Weston.
And of course it has to pause right when we're about to listen in on our jobs report. All right, but the markets are reacting a little bit. So it's 8:30. We are seeing the QQQ rally a little bit higher, and the S&P is also pushing higher up over 15 basis points. The Dow is not really reacting all that much. I'll pull that up right away, but of course it had to pause and hang right when the jobs report were supposed to come out. All right, so we added 850,000.
Goes up by 151,000. So yes, that is an issue. No change in the participation rate, 61.6%. The employment to population ratio is also unchanged at 58. So it looks like we are attracting more people into the labor force, which pushes the unemployment rate a little bit higher. It's one of those things where you say it's good news that the unemployment rate goes up. Average hourly earnings, 3.6%, bang on with forecasts. Last month it was 1.9%. That's the year-over-year number. So all in all, it looks like a pretty good jobs report, a little bit better than expected in most categories, and the unemployment rate is something you can look past.
Mike, keep going through it. I'll go through the price action. A lift in the equity market. We advanced by 0.2%, add a little bit more weight to the S&P 500. Out to the bond market. Let's slice it up. 2s out to 10s. 2-year yield higher by about a basis point. We fade the long end move just a little bit on 10s. Yields are in about a basis point. On 30s, that sticks. We're down by 2 basis points on a 30-year to 2.042%. Tom, that's the shape of things coming out of this in the bond market and in equities. Struggle to read this one to get a clear direction on what this means for a Fed meeting through the next several months.
I'm going to call equity lift, and what I'm really looking at, John, is DXY went stronger right away and then ebbed in a little bit. Mike McKeith, totally unfair question, but it's Unfair Friday. How does this change Fed policy? And the answer is, as John says, we're not seeing much on the screen.
No, it doesn't change Fed policy, and you're not going to see much reaction in the markets. If you get some reaction, it's probably going to be because it's a low volume day with an early close before a holiday weekend. At this point, this just tells you that we're headed in the right direction. And I was discussing this last night with somebody, and they said, how do you read this number? And I would say, you put it in the context of what Jay Powell has said, that you're looking for substantial further improvement in their goals before they start tapering. And this keeps you moving in that direction. Beyond that, you can't say a whole lot about Fed policy.
If we do 700,000 and we do it over 10 months, that's 7 million jobs created. Is that how you mop up our not fully employed America?
Well, yes, and you hope that you get a little bit faster rate of employment absorption. And the feeling is that we may get more of that come the fall when you have kids go back to school, so child care responsibilities aren't as heavy, and when all states are no longer paying supplemental unemployment benefits.
Lisa, the dollar turns around and weakens right now.
Right, so Tesla deliveries also came in at 201,250, estimated 204,000. So let's take a quick look on that too. But the jobs report came in a little bit higher than expected at 850,000 versus 96,000 that we read earlier. So this right here is the press release. So all right, Q2 2021 vehicle production and deliveries. Model S and X coming in at 2,340 vehicles, deliveries 1,890, and Model 3 and Y coming in 204,081 production. So total production was 206,000 roughly, and deliveries 199,360. So 201,250. So we have a little bit of pent up inventory right now in the second quarter. So still pretty good. I mean, anything over 200,000, I feel like it was a good number for Tesla. Slightly lower than expected numbers, and we're gonna break down when those numbers come out in terms of the different geographies and where they're actually being reported. But Tesla's slightly down about 43 basis points right now. Let's take a quick look in the jobs market as well, if this is updated. Alright, so this is the number at 850,000. So again, total private coming in at 662,000. Services again outperforming at 830,000. And most of the jobs this time around getting added once again in professional business services at 72,000. We got education health services 59,000. Leisure hospitality once again accounting for roughly about, I should say, 40%, 343,000. And this right here, retail trade at 67,100. And government jobs at 188,000 right now. And this right here is going to be the unemployment rate. So let's update that. I think it was sitting at 5.7 or something, 5.6. New number, 5.9. It actually ticked up higher from 5.8% to 5.9%. So that was interesting here. So this also at 1.9 roughly. So yeah, I mean, we're seeing the NASDAQ push higher. So again, NASDAQ is up over 59 basis points and the S&P is up over 29, with the Dow Jones slightly up over 17 basis points. But Tesla is starting to slide a little bit. 37 basis points, so trading as low as 675. So 675 to 650 is a support for Tesla stock, right? That is the most important level for us to watch moving forward for Tesla, because this right here is going to be the daily chart. So we're roughly at 675, 675 to 650 is a support, and of course we got a minor gap here between 660 and 670 levels that Tesla may or may not fill. We'll see. Michael Mayer says, I have a feeling AMD is a bull trap. I don't think so, because it has a lot of volume. It's had a lot of volume, and it's been pushing higher on significant volume and trading above those moving averages. So if anything, it's in a strong uptrend. Now those patterns can shift. That can really start to, fall through the cracks and really start to come down. But I don't think AMD is a bull trap right now. So, all right, 593, 697. So this may be a sell. The news filled the gap. Let's take a quick look on the Dow Jones, Dave. So yeah, we are starting to see that a little bit. So next resistance to watch for the Dow is going to be 34,900. That's our triple top resistance for the Dow Jones. So once here, twice here, 3 times here. We're getting rejected here consistently. But Tesla is now green, up over 16 basis points. The NASDAQ continuing to push higher, and the S&P is also up. Let's take a quick look in our here. So NIO's reversing back up, down only 8 basis points, with Palantir up over 85 basis points. We got AMD up over 33, and Tesla, of course, back green, up over 7 basis points. And we still have about an hour for the markets to open, Zach says. We do have a lot of time for the markets to open, so we are gonna break down some stocks here. So VIX down about 4%, trading as low as 14.82. Definitely seeing a little bit of a pullback and a breakdown below this 15 level. So very closely I'm watching this as well, because if we continue to pull back, that's going to be a green light for the S&P to continue to push higher moving forward. All right, so very quickly, what do you guys think? 1 hour feels like 500 years. For NEO, where are we closing the week? Where are we closing on the day? We're trading just shy of $51 for NEO stock. What do you guys think? And then we're going to jump over to Tesla. All right, so $50. So everybody, good morning. Thank you so much for joining in. Dave says $49.50. That is a strong support that we need to watch for NEO. All right, let's take a quick look on Didi and where that's trading and how that's doing right now. Still down about 8.5%, but getting a little bit of reversal back up. I don't have any moving averages right now. I just want to focus on the price action to really see where it establishes a strong support right now. Rita, this is for YouTube. This is for everyone, all the members. All right, so let's analyze some stocks here. So if there's anything that you want me to go over, we can go over that. We got about 40 minutes for the markets to open. Let's just quickly go over. All right, Alibaba, let's take a quick look. Down another 1% pre-market. Yesterday we were down a little bit over 2%, still hovering over that level at $218, $219. So I think that we got the 21 EMA sitting roughly at that level. Yeah, so the 21 EMA sitting roughly at $219. We're just hovering right above that support right now. So Alibaba seeing a little bit of weakness and some breakdowns once again, right? We're seeing if those moving averages don't hold up as a support, then this is going to continue, and this is just a lower high, lower low pattern. Even though the recent high we did see a breakout, but we're just starting to see a little bit of pullback once again and some consolidation. So support levels to watch at 210 all the way as low as 194. Those right there are going to be two levels if you're long term in this company, which in my strong opinion, fundamentally, core business wise, continues to remain undervalued. Those are going to be levels for you to add more if you wish to hold it for a longer term, because there's going to be some times where Alibaba is going to continue to form these patterns where it starts to move up, but then it rolls over on weaker volume and kind of fades away, right? So the support level to watch intraday today is going to be 219. That's kind of aligned with that 21 EMA, all the way as low as 210 and $194 per share. Let's take a quick look at UPS. So UPS gapping, no, it's not gapping up yet, but we're still getting a bounce off of that moving averages. So the next resistance to watch for UPS is going to be sitting roughly at this level, like close to $217, $218 level. Again, we were just consolidating here before we saw a pullback, and right now we're just seeing a reversal back up. So in my opinion, I think the risk-reward trade-off here in this trade is not the best. There's better opportunities in the market right now. So, if we do see some more weakness, ideally I would like to have a stop limit under the 50 EMA, which is going to be sitting roughly at 201. So that is going to be a drop of over 4.6, 4.7% for a potential target of just about 4%. So you're risking 4 to make 4%. So it's kind of like a 1-to-1 ratio. So that again is going to be the resistance level to watch at close to $218 for UPS moving forward. So all right, let's take a quick look on Square. So Square starting to see that reversal back up to over $243. That right there is the level to watch closely on Square. We're continuing to kind of fill in this channel right now. One of the things that I wanted to notice, very similar for Palantir and Square, is that Palantir also saw some type of a rising wedge pattern, right? So this is something that we talked about in, I think, a few days ago. Put out a video that this was like a rising wedge pattern, which usually does lead to a potential breakdown. And maybe that catalyst from Cathie Wood was the reason why we're seeing that breakdown. but there are going to be some support levels at the 50 EMA all the way as low as $23 per share for Palantir moving forward. And today may just be like a little bit of a bounce higher, back up to 25.70, and then we're going to establish where we're going to see that support next. So that is kind of like the same pattern that we're seeing for Square as well, right? So 243 resistance, all the way as $260. That's going to be the next target if we get a successful breakout once again and close above $243 today. All right, so Carlos, I will take a look at APXT as well. So now they're merging with AvePoint. So fundamental analysis on AVPT. So I'll try to take a look at it. But that is a drastic drop from highs of like $17-18, down about 44%. But it has seen a little bit of a recovery. So resistance in the near term, I would still watch this level for the stock at roughly 1240, 1238 levels. And we're starting to kind of form these higher lows as well, so we are kind of validating these moving averages. So the 21 EMA, the 50 EMA, we're perfectly validating that level. So support sitting roughly at this 1175, and the resistance is going to be at 1240 levels for this company. All right, let's take a quick look on NEO. So pretty much flat open, expected at roughly $51 per share. Remember, $49.50 is a support, and of course $55 is the next target and the next resistance to watch for NEO moving forward. All right, so the Nasdaq ETF QQQ really starting to push up higher, up over 56 basis points. The SPY also pushing higher here, and the Dow Jones is also up over 24 basis points. So green across the board is what we're seeing, but a lot of stocks aren't moving that aggressively. So AMD is up over 31. NEO is up over 16, Palantir is up over 89. Let's take a quick look on Amazon, up over 29 basis points. Microsoft, up another 0.5%. Nvidia, please don't tell me Nvidia is green. I swear to God, this thing is up another 1%. Trading past over $816 per share. Once again. Let's take a quick look on Google. Google is also up another 35 basis points, so we are seeing kind of like those big tech stocks, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, they're all up, right? Anywhere between 0.5% to 1% right now. Let's take a quick look on Wish. Is down about 1.72% after being down over 7% yesterday. So I think I did some analysis on Wish here. So Wish again had a symmetrical triangle. We saw a breakout, got rejected at this 1550 resistance. That right there was a level to watch for Wish. So again, 1550 levels, and right now we're coming back down to kind of retest our moving averages. We got the 21 EMA, the 50 EMA sitting roughly at 1215. Pre-market we're trading below that level, so it really depends whether we can stay above those levels, whether we can break out, or not break out, but kind of hold up above those support levels, or if we're going to see a breakdown, you know, more consistently and just continue to kind of flush all the way around to 750. So that right there is going to be the next support level to watch. So $12 per share is going to be the first level. That's kind of aligned with the moving averages. But if you do see a more persistent breakdown, then I would not be surprised if you do get a flush all the way down to $10. So right here, it's going to be the next level to watch. All right, so let's take a quick look at. All right, so SWBI, not sure what that is, but this is a very scary looking candle right there. I don't know what happened here, but it was trading as 39.62. So at one point we were up over 14%, and the sellers came in like by a lot, and we pushed all the way back down to close to 35.40. Up only about 2%. So pre-market we're down another 2.5%. So wouldn't be surprised if we do see some more weakness for this stock. And again, fundamentally I haven't researched this company or don't know much about it, but just from a technical standpoint, you know, the RSI, the MACD, RSI well over 88. The MACD is also aggressively pushing higher with this candle not looking the best. So I would definitely keep a close eye at any type of a pullback or a correction on this one. Michael, thank you so much. So love your analysis on all these stocks. Thank you so much for joining in. I really, really appreciate that. Let's take a quick look on TSM. So TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor, getting rejected at this 121 resistance. So earlier we were forming this lower high and lower low pattern. So this right here was kind of like this lower high and lower lows. And then more recently we've started to go sideways, right? So we're consolidating in this range with a support at close to 113 and a resistance at close to 121. So if you have a double top resistance at that level for TSM, we're still down, I believe, roughly 15 or 18% from our all-time high, so 16% down from our all-time highs. So that is going to be the range where I see TSM to continue to kind of trade before seeing a more persistent breakout in either direction. So 121 resistance and a support at close to $112. All right, let's take a quick look at Roblox. So Roblox had a huge drop a couple days ago, I believe. So right now, pre-market, we're up another 1% here, validating those 50 EMA. But one thing I will mention is that we are starting to see some lower highs. So we need to readjust our pattern here. So this right here is the lower high that we're seeing for Roblox. So this resistance, $93.15. You know, I still remember we were talking about it during our live stream. We were trading so aggressively. We were up over 7%. We broke out over $94 per share. But the main resistance or the main level to watch was $93.15. We needed a close above that level, and you'll notice that we actually stepped down and closed below that level. So that was a resistance. The next day we failed to break out over $93. The following day we failed to break out over $93. So 3 days in a row we're just fighting that $93 resistance, right? And now we're starting to see some lower highs. So there's definitely weakness in Roblox's pattern. So I would be very cautious at this support at close to $80. Again, if this was already a swing trade, trailing stop limit was already encouraged. So if you are seeing a little bit of a drawdown, you should already be out with the profit on this. But if you are waiting to find a better entry, I would wait to see if $80 continues to get retested as a support. If you do see a breakdown below this, considering that we're making these lower highs, then I could see some more downside. And of course, earlier it was just in a range bound pattern. So we were just trading sideways here before we saw that breakout. So $80 all the way as 83.69, kind of aligned with that 50 EMA, are going to be two support levels to watch moving forward. And just the lower highs is a little bit of a cause for concern, but all in all, the pattern is still above those moving averages and still above that support. So I would just wait for this pattern to continue to kind of fill in this channel and then see which way it actually does break out to. All right, so let's take a quick look in Pubmatic. So PUBM. So Pubmatic had a resistance at close to whatever this level was, $44. So you know, it was kind of like an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So we talked about the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder, and then we saw a breakout. Let's invert the scale. So then we saw a breakout from this. So again, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, we saw a breakout all the way highs of $44, and then we got rejected at that level. Support level to watch for this is going to be kind of aligned with that 21 EMA, so roughly we're up over 1.28% pre-market, all the way as low as $35 per share. So those levels are going to be some really important support levels for Pubmatic. And again, this is a profitable company. Fundamentally, they've got a great balance sheet and strong growth prospects in the future as well, trading at a very low market cap, or roughly 1.8 billion. So and again, the potential for the short squeeze is high for this one because the short interest remains pretty elevated at close to over 41%. So keep a close eye at $35 as a support if you wish to take a trade. I would keep like a stop limit right underneath this level. So you know, stop limit right under $35 is only risking about less than 5%, with a potential profit target back up to $44. It's going to be a jump of over 18.5% to see if you get a successful breakout on a potential short squeeze. If you get the volume pick up once again, back up to over $58 per share. Because like I said, fundamentally also this company makes a lot of sense over the longer term. So again, that's going to be a swing trade, but again, if you are going to be taking a longer term trade, you're going to love those discounts when it does drop, you know, over 27% down to $27 per share. So keep a close eye at $35. Dave, I think Dave is the person who asked me this. Yeah, so Dave, keep a close eye at $35 as a support, kind of aligned with that 21 EMA as well, close to $36, $35, and a target at close to $44 per share once again. Yeah, so thank you for bringing up Pubmatic. I never understood why it doesn't get more attention due to financials and short positions. Yeah, it's interesting because they've got a low float as well. The only risk that I see, the only challenge that I see for Pubmatic is the fact that they have over 1 billion shares authorized. So authorization doesn't mean that they're going to actually issue it, but that just gives the company enough accessibility to additional shares if they wish to actually issue it in the open market and raise more capital, right? So when we see these equity offerings, companies usually do use whatever's authorized to actually issue it in the market to raise more capital. So that's the only risk I see from like a short squeeze perspective, that if the company actually does choose to issue more shares, maybe we see like more supply in the markets, more dilution that could lead to a more breakdown and some more weakness for the stock. But in the near term, keep a close eye at $35. Let's take a look at Vertex. So VRTX is up another 89 basis points, trading past over $204. This again was a this is another swing trade / long-term position, because fundamentally, again, this is a profitable company. This is a company that is down still 37-40% from its all-time highs. Works in a very specific niche in biotech pharmaceutical. Last week, we actually entered this position. So not this week, but last week, we actually entered Vertex, I think close to 192. Forgot what the entry was. But this was the swing trade if anybody wanted to take a swing trade from our private Discord group or the Patreon. But if this was also a long-term play, you can continue to kind of hold it longer, because I do see the stock well past over 250, 275 levels. So right now you are actually right. Whoever brought this up, so Fang, thank you so much for bringing that up. So for you, it's a swing trade. Okay, so thanks for mentioning that. That would be the level that we're actually hitting our target resistance. So I would definitely consider setting up a trailing stop so that you don't get basically get stopped out with a limited downside, and you lock in your gains if you do see a reversal from that 50 EMA, right? So we're almost testing that 50 exponential moving average. So thanks for bringing that up. I'm going to send a quick update to our Patreon members here. And then we'll kind of break down some more stocks. We're going to go over Coinbase as well in just a second. And by the way, guys, we have very limited spots available. We had a lot of people join in, I think, yesterday when we opened up a few spots for our regular investor tiers. So if you wish to join, again, the link is going to be down in the description below. And I'm just going to take 1 minute to send this update very quickly. All right, so we are good. So, all right, let's take a look at Nvidia. So Nvidia, I'm getting a lot of comments on that. So still up over 1%, trading past over $817. So, all right, what are your guys' questions on Nvidia? What is it that you want to know about Nvidia stock right now? So Pedro, what do you discuss in Patreon? So on Patreon, we cover actually a lot of different things. I share my trading view charts with everyone. So the charts that you're seeing right now, I cover that with everyone. So you'll get 6 links every single month. You'll get access to them. You'll get access to our report. So we cover the macro piece. So we cover the labor market, inflation, unemployment, interest rates, all those different things. We cover the swing trading setups. So we cover different ideas that I share on a weekly basis. So we cover a lot of different things. I mean, it's just more. So we do private live streams as well for our Patreon members. So we go over calendars, so what earnings are coming up when. There's a lot of different value-added stuff that you can get access to. All right, so Rita says causing fear of heights. That's funny. Yes, the more. So it's very simple, and this is the type of movement that kind of scares me. If you're not already in at 650 or 600, even as low as 500, 400, $300 in Nvidia stock, in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion and my 2 cents, it absolutely does not make sense why you would want to start a new position here if you want to establish a new position, right? The other side of the MACD, this thing is just waiting. It's literally just waiting. for a pullback and a correction, right? So maybe we see that, maybe we see it pre-split, post-split, but this type of movement is not sustainable, right? This is not a sustainable stock chart. Every time we see that divergence from the moving averages, time and time again, we have reverted back down to the mean. The same thing happened here, right? We moved up too much too fast and then we saw a drop, right? Same thing happened here. We moved up too much too fast, we saw a drop. Too much too fast. Every time you start going vertically, you know that the stock price is moving a little bit too fast. All right, let's take a quick look on Tesla. So perfect design, yep, 201,250 vehicles. So Tesla is still down a little bit over 68 basis points. So NIO starting to push higher, up over 1%, back over $51. This right here is going to be Palantir. So we are up over 1.29%, and AMD is also up 30 basis points, with Tesla down about 70. So we're coming back down to 673. All right, so what other stocks are we going over? Let's take a quick look here. So in Nvidia, we already went over. Can you check Coinbase? All right, so we're up a little bit over 46 basis points. The resistance that we talked about in our previous video was roughly at $250. So that right there was the resistance here. Again, there's another profit target at close to $302, but of course we're not going to get there in a straight line. We're going to get there in stages, right? So we have moved up quite a bit. So this was a jump of a little bit over 19, almost 20%. Seeing a little bit of a pullback here, and moving forward, if you want to see a breakout over 250, we need to see some more consolidation and then a breakout over 250 on heavier volume. So that's kind of like the whole plan here with every stock, right? With NIO, with Tesla, with AMD, with Coinbase as well. We're going to move up in stages, and we're going to find these new support levels, build our foundation, and then break out to the next level higher. Let's take a quick look on AMC, because we have not talked about AMC yet. Down about 1.6%, but still trading above the moving averages. The 21 EMA is now sitting exactly at $51 per share. So that's a strong support. Resistance stays put at 61, roughly at $62 per share. So that is kind of like range bound. We're just consolidating sideways. We'll see if we actually do get a breakout eventually over $61 per share, right? So that is going to be the important level to watch. Previously, we have seen days intraday where we have actually traded above $61, but eventually the sellers step in and we move back down. That is again that what worries me about Upstart, UPSD, is that I would not be surprised if we actually do get a breakdown for Upstart, right? We are actually literally, I think today might be the day Upstart actually makes a decision. Which way are we going, right? This has been a stock that's just been trading sideways, getting aligned with that higher low. So this is the higher low, the ascending support. We've got tagged at that level once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. We're just there at the 4th time. So I think today is like decision day, so to speak, for Upstart. And again, going over to our 5-minute chart for Upstart very quickly. So let me just go over here. You'll notice that we have a triple top resistance at that very level. So there's definitely, sellers sitting at that level. This is the resistance that we got tested at 3 times in a single day. I mean, if you get rejected 3 times in one day at that resistance, that's got to tell you something about that resistance, right? There's some sellers sitting here with a strong order, and we're just not able to break out successfully. So again, that is also above the 21 EMA, and if we don't get a successful breakout, instead get a breakdown below this higher low, then the next support is going to be 110, closer to $100 per share. All right, let's take a quick look at NNDM. So NNDM also starting to pull back. This right here was the bull flag breakout. We got rejected at 933. So this right here was the level that we were talking about from previous resistance coming in from April 27. So old resistance acting as a resistance once again. We're now starting to see a pullback once again. But we are trading above the 21 EMA and the 50 EMA. So the real question really is if we're going to see some validation at that support, or if we're going to see a breakdown below 7, all the way down to $7 per share. So So that right there is going to be the support here at close to $7.85. And the resistance at close to $9.33. Michael is looking for $110 AMD soon. In my opinion, soon. BFA updated AMD, so very pleased with that. They put a target of close to $120, which is a little bit higher than my estimate, but that's good. $110, I could see AMD like very soon. They've got earnings coming out later this month, so I'm super excited about that. And an 18% push, we could see that very soon from Advanced Micro Devices. But again, earnings coming up on July 27th, so I'll break that down as well. Alright, so Roku is seeing a bit of a pullback. Yesterday we were down over 5%. The RSI, the MACD overbought here. So I'd say the resistance level to watch is going to stay put at close to 445. Yesterday's high were 457. The day before was 462. But this right here is still going to be a resistance at close to 445 that we need to watch for Roku, aligned with this previous resistance. And this is a very similar pattern to Nvidia. We've rallied close to over 40%, rallied from the middle of May, close to over 57%, so strong move, vertically higher, moving away from the moving averages. So there's more potential risk to the downside than there's upside left for Roku stock, in my opinion. So be very careful. 445 again, resistance, support sitting roughly at 375 to as high as $393 per share. Yes, so I went over PubMatic earlier, so you're more than welcome to watch that as well. Job data was good. So we added over 850,000 jobs versus 700,000. That was the estimate. We went over the unemployment rate, which is now sitting at roughly 5.9. This actually unemployment rate went up, which was interesting. 5.9%. The unemployment rate is actually going up. And the most jobs added once again was in leisure and hospitality, with about almost 343,000 jobs, with about professional, business services, and education health services, roughly at 59,000 jobs also added. Construction went down, which is also a little bit surprising, considering that the infrastructure bill is going to have the need for more construction projects in the future, but we actually went down roughly 7,000 jobs. And other services were up. Financial activities went down 1,000. Utilities was unchanged. Transportation, warehousing at 10,700. Retail trade went up, right? So it went up over 67,100. Earlier we saw a drop in retail trade, month over month, so coming in from April to May. And this is going to be the employment population ratio. So this is the entire population of the US and the number of people that are employed. Right now we're sitting at 58% in the month of June. So a little bit over half the number of people in the US are actually in the workforce working or employed, so to speak. So that is good for the overall economy in general. You'll notice the Nasdaq is now up over 67 basis points, and we've got 18 basis points for the Dow, and the S&P is also up over 31 basis points. So, all right, Caddy, any interest to come up for earnings play coming up in the next 1 to 2 weeks? For the most part, we've got some banking earnings coming up. So let me see if I still have the calendar, the July calendar that I shared with everyone. If I don't, I'm gonna probably just go over and try to see if I have it saved. All right, so I do have that. All right, this is the calendar that was shared with all the members, and we went over this in our private live stream as well. So again, this week we were watching the initial jobless claims, which came out yesterday, better than expectations. We got the ADP non-farm payrolls, which is not the U.S. reported earnings, not the government ones. This is the Friday, July 2nd, the non-farm payrolls. Unemployment rate now sits at 5.9%. Average hourly earnings went up 30 basis points. So this is done with. Starting next week, all right, so we got the long weekend on Monday. Wednesday, we got the 10 a.m. JOLTS report. So currently we're sitting at 9.3 million, record levels, imbalance between the people want to work and the number of jobs. So demand and supply imbalance for the jobs report. So next week, is it next week? July 13th? The following week, so that's going to be Tuesday, is when we have the CPI. So that's going to be the inflation numbers, CPI, core CPI, and we got earnings for banking. So Goldman Sachs, JP, and PepsiCo are going to be reporting their earnings. And then we got producer price index, which is going to be on the manufacturing side, and of course some other earnings like Delta, Morgan Stanley, UNH, Progressive, We've got Microsoft, Nucor, airlines are reporting. So UNP, Southwest, AT&T, Coca-Cola, eBay, Johnson & Johnson, Netflix, and UBS. So a lot of banking earnings coming up, along with banking, airlines, and towards the end of the month, we've got tech reporting with Amazon, Google, Netflix, AMD, Apple, Tesla also reporting their earnings. So super excited about that as well. So Palantir is seeing a little bounce higher, up over 2% now. NIO's up over 1% here, and AMD is up over 60 basis points. And let's take a quick look at CCIV. So CCIV is merging when? July 21st, is it? July 20th? Somewhere closer to that. So the calendars are very helpful. I appreciate that, Rita. So $27 is actually a support now for CCIV, right? So we'll go ahead and turn this level into a support that we need to watch for CCIV. And the next target or the next resistance is going to be at $33. So that right there is going to be the level to watch for CCIV. So consistent uptrend, pushing up in higher highs and higher lows here. So this is going to be the higher highs. And this right here are going to be the higher lows for CCIV. But we're starting to make this rising wedge pattern once again, similar to what we were looking at for Palantir and Square. So we're moving up in this kind of like a wedge pattern, pushing higher, but we're still going to see a resistance at 34, support at $27. And pre-market we're up close to 2%, 28, 25. So July 22nd, all right. So July 22nd is when they're doing, or probably July 21st is when they're doing their merger. And yes, Neo Power Day coming up on July 9th. That's also going to be very important for Neo. So Nvidia at $819. What do you guys think? Is anybody in the live chat buying or selling or holding Nvidia stock? I would love to know. What do you guys think? Is anybody buying at these levels right now? Or are you selling or holding? And also, like, if you look at these patterns, Nvidia has also historically moved up in like stages, right? We've seen consolidation, then rallies. We've seen a lot of consolidation. Like Nvidia, it took Nvidia almost 6 months to actually break out of its resistance, from 587. So this right here, since August 2020 till May 2021, it didn't do anything, right? 0% gain or loss, and then finally moved. So it took 6 months for Nvidia to actually make a move of 50+%. But yes, after the split, I do expect Nvidia to come back down a little bit to a reasonable valuation, because if you were to take a quick look on the PE ratio for Nvidia, right? So let's go over to the maps and let's go over to the PE ratio here. So you'll notice that Nvidia is now trading at pretty overstretched levels, right? So it's trading at 95, 95.8, and after today's run, I wouldn't be surprised if you're trading at well over 100. And look at across all semiconductors, right? All semiconductors in this list. You'll notice Intel at close to 20, close to 12, not even 20, close to 12. We got Qualcomm at 20. We got AMD at 39, less than 40. Micron is at 28, which I think Micron, after the earnings that they reported a couple of days ago, is a strong stock to look into at $74. $74 is kind of like the support that I have for Micron. Xilinx trading at 54. MCHP, so I'm not sure which one that is. Let's take a quick look. That's going to be Microchip Technology Incorporated, trading at 113. Probably that's the only semiconductor company on the list that is a little bit competitive with Nvidia at close to 95. So just from a valuation perspective, amongst its peers, it's no surprise that Nvidia is stretched at these levels. So Leslie holding from 609, that's incredible. That's awesome. Congratulations. All right, so NASDAQ continued to push higher. We got about 18 minutes left for the markets to open. Stefan, delivery numbers already came out. 201,250. Tesla stock is down. Produced 206,000, so we do have a little bit of inventory left. But nonetheless, we are seeing a little bit of a flat reaction to that, down only 14 basis points. Tesla is trading as low as 676. For everything, it seems like it's a mini bull trap. I wouldn't call it a bull trap, only because everything is trading at near all-time high levels. Like for a small percentage of stocks that are not trading at all-time highs, everything is trading at all-time highs. Like if you take a look at the Nasdaq, if you take a look at the big tech sort of FANG names, with the exception of Netflix, it's trading at near all-time highs. So I wouldn't call this like a bull trap. Now for specific companies, when we see these rallies that happen like for a few days, that can be said that it's a bull trap, and we're going to see the move fade away and roll over. But if you're trading at all-time highs, it's all-time highs. It's about as best as it can get. So as S&P 500 pushes higher, what are your thoughts on trimming positions like Apple? That's a great question. Really depends on what your price target is on Apple stock and what percentage of your portfolio makes up Apple stock in general. So it's kind of hard to give like one answer that fits all. It really depends on what your analysis is. For me, Apple stock is roughly at 175. Medium term, midterm target is going to be close to 145. But I'm really waiting on what their Project Titan is going to look like, and what their exposure to the EV market is going to look like. Whether it's going to be more software related, whether it's going to be full-blown hardware, they're going to be actually making actual cars, partnering with another company. So I'm just waiting on getting some more clarity. Maybe we get that in the earnings calls that's coming up later this month. And then I'm going to reassess what the target is going to look like for Apple. Medium term is going to be roughly at 145, all-time highs are close to 150 maybe. And then if it makes up too much of your portfolio, right? If it's 50%, 60%, depending on how much you have invested, then of course it would make sense why you want to rebalance it to kind of make it more aligned with where you want to see Apple as a percentage of your portfolio, whether it's 20%, 5%, 2%, or 60%. So it really depends on your those two things: your price target and your weighting in Apple as a company. All right, so we got about 15 minutes left. Let's break down a couple more stocks. So biotech looking really good. That's a great point. We actually had some swing trades on this, XBI more specifically, and yesterday was a strong day for this, up over 2.28%. We got rejected at our $138 resistance. So this was the resistance coming in from April 29th. We got rejected at the same level on June 20th, and right now we're seeing a recovery back up. We're up another 35 basis points. So yes, I'm seeing a recovery in biotech. Biotech may be an area where we can actually find good deals and good stocks, because just this ETF has been down substantially from its all-time highs. At one point we were down over 31%. And there was positive divergence building, so there was some bullish divergence here. And as we continue to make these lower lows, the RSI continued to push higher. So we were expecting some type of a trend reversal, which is exactly why we set up a swing trade idea here. But I do expect more upside. I expect like for biotech and more specifically XBI to push back up higher, break out over 140, retrace back up to 150 levels. And the next resistance to watch is going to be exactly 150. So that right there is going to be the level to watch. Previous resistance here, validated support for us to watch. All right, let's take a look at Disney stock. So Disney continue to kind of form this head and shoulders pattern. My support is at 167. So let me bring up the 200 SMA. The 200 SMA is sitting roughly at the 166 level. So I think that's going to be a good level to add more shares of Disney. That's only going to be a drop of over 4.6%. For Disney stock. So waiting on this one patiently. If you do get a pull all the way down to 167, 165, then I'll be more inclined to kind of adding more Disney stock. So that's going to be the stock to watch at close to 167, close to the 200 SMA, and the resistance at 180. And we're also kind of making this head and shoulders pattern. All right, let's take a quick look at so I'll take a look at XLB materials. Is that what you mean? XLB is reversing any stock ideas. So this is the materials sector, right? So there's going to be material stocks that we need to look into for a potential reversal trade. But right now I would kind of stay away from this, only because there is a resistance here at close to $89. We sold off below those moving averages, and now we're just trading below the moving averages. So there is some potential downside movement for this ETF in the future as we make this kind of like a bear flag. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get some more downside just from this ETF. But support level to watch here in the near term is going to be sitting roughly at $80. So close to this level for this materials ETF. All right, so let's take a quick look at SoFi. Up another 44 basis points. So after the gap down, we did leave this gap, so we came back up to fill this gap, and then we're back down. So I'll kind of remove this. So right now, still waiting. Over the weekend, I'm actually doing some fundamental analysis on this one as well, and kind of understanding the valuation. So I'll be doing that. Fundamentals. And we're gonna add SoFi to the list. We're gonna add Didi to the list. We're gonna add Robinhood. And we're gonna add, what were a few more stocks that we're gonna look into? S is another one, and I think that should do it. 4 companies to go over, and I'll add like Vertex to this one as well. All right. All right. So when Nasdaq gains and AMD gets down, Mark, I added S right now. It really, it's gonna be about the stock. I mean, that really depends on where we're trading individual stocks with respect to support resistance levels, individual company catalysts. So it's not a perfect correlation with any stock versus the Nasdaq or anything for that matter. I mean, for us to find one-to-one correlation in the market, it's very, very challenging, right? Nothing is going to move in the same direction with respect to like even the ETFs that are created to follow the underlying index don't follow the index perfectly, right? You'll notice QQQ was up over 4 basis points yesterday, and the Nasdaq was up over 13 basis points yesterday, right? So if you were just invested in QQQ, you would have been up 4 basis points. If you're invested in a Nasdaq index, right, index fund that's not tradable, then you would have been up 13 basis points. So nothing is perfectly correlated, so to speak. So I think it's just the market. I mean, there's no one particular rule as to why that happens. I think it's individually. AMD is up over 30 basis points, and the Nasdaq is, up 65. Well, maybe because AMD has less buyers right now present, the low volume, and when the market opens, we'll see where it trades. But it's kind of like every stock trades in a different pattern relative to the broader markets. All right, so let's take a quick look at Amazon. So we've already covered Alibaba. You can kind of go back and see the analysis on that. Upstart, we've also covered. So back up to over 34.40 levels, and we are going to be 35.57 is the next resistance. My price target is well over $4,000. So Amazon, I believe, is the one that's actually undervalued still. Deserves a $2 trillion market cap. 14% upside from me, 24% upside from Wall Street, and I still see eventually a breakout over to new all-time highs for Amazon. Let's go over to Penn. So Penn National Gaming, so really depends on the reopening of the economy, right? Right now with this new Delta variant, it's kind of hard to judge what that's going to look like in the future, but I do expect the company, which is down over 48% from its all-time highs, but as this reopening of the economy takes place, I expect fundamentals to eventually improve for the company. Support I've established, Chad, at close to $73, so that right there is going to be the level to watch. And what we really need to see from Penn is a breakout. So what we need to see is a breakout over this $88 resistance, which is going to be sitting roughly over here. So that right there is going to be the level to see for Penn Gaming, roughly at 81.80, close to 82, $82 per share for Penn. So there's no lower lows yet, so I wasn't able to find any bullish divergence. So you'll notice that we are still kind of coming down to lows of 32. This right here were lows of 30, so there's no bullish divergence yet. So there is no clear indication that we're going to see a breakout or not. But right now it's definitely coiling in for some moves. And if the $73 continues to hold up as support, in my opinion, there's a high chance. This is a low risk, high reward play, right? So if you were to establish a support, simple trade here with a stop limit right under the support at close to $73, you're risking 5% for a potential to make 21, even as that's 22, 24%. Even if you set a target at close to $83 or this $85 level, back up to this resistance previously, because this was a jump, right? This was a jump of 15% for Penn. That's going to be a jump of almost 12.5%, 13%. With a stop limit right under the $73 level. And it's all about trade management, right? Sometimes you'll find the opportunities where you have very low risk, high reward, where you have, sometimes you'll get low risk, low reward plays. Sometimes you'll get high risk, high reward stocks. And as the stock progresses, it's all about trade management and kind of reassessing where the next target is going to be, how the price action is playing out, where the volume is, where the moving averages are, and then kind of go from there. All right, so we already talked about Micron. You can kind of go back and check the analysis there. So maybe check out Vertex Pharmaceuticals, great company, reasonable PE, and potentially coming out of a price correction. So we already went over Vertex Pharmaceutical. We went over the fundamentals. This is actually on my list here for doing some more analysis. We actually do have a trade on this right now on VRTX. But I do agree, it's got a great fundamental story behind it, profitable, stellar balance sheet, and a lot of growth potential in the future. So closely watching that stock. And SPCE we also covered earlier in the live stream. All right, so the Nasdaq is up over 63 basis points. The Dow also pushing higher over 24. Let's take a quick look on our SPY ETS, and then we'll go over to the Dow Jones Holdings, see really what's moving up. Lemonade up over 1.5%. We got Nike up over 22%. We got Delta Airlines flat on the day. MGM is up over 18 basis points. Facebook up over 31. We got Accenture pretty much flat. Granger pretty much flat. We got MasterCard up over 48 basis points. Southwest up over 37. American Airlines up over 0.5%. Chevron is up over 18. Nextera Energy up over 20 basis points. Best Buy pretty much flat on the day. AT&T down about 21, or no, up over 21 basis points. UNH is flat on the day. Nvidia is, of course, rallying to the moon. How many guys? All right, so how many of you guys think that Nvidia is gonna touch $1,000 before the split? So split is on July 20th. So we're about 2 weeks away. So after today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we got 11 trading days left after today, right? So after today, we got 11 trading days left. How many of you guys think, where do you guys think Nvidia is going to be pre-split in 11 trading days? It's not going to happen. All right, 900, 900, 950. All right, so Han says 1200. Oh man. Imagine if Nvidia does a split after July 20th and it's back down to 800, so it's actually trading at 2400, so like 11 trading days it goes up to 2400, and when they do a split it's back over to 800. I think at least 900. Probably 850 by split day. Not likely. 721 2021 shorted with leverage. A million times. Wow. Yeah, and I don't understand, like, these price targets keep getting hiked at over $900. Like, that's the thing. What's changed in the last, 3 weeks, 6 weeks? Great earnings were reported. Some catalysts are coming out. But are they strong enough to bump up targets 100%? Targets are going up on Wall Street from 450 to 900, from like 500 to 1,000. I'm like, what? What is going on? All right, but moving along, we got Pfizer. That's up. That's down pre-market, down about 8 basis points. Netflix up over 0.5% here. So this right here is going to JPM, which is down about 0.5% roughly. And we got Disney up over 35 basis points. Let's take a quick look on some of the Dow stocks, Dow 30. Dan, come on. How are you going to do me like that? You're going to tell me my videos are really helpful, so I really appreciate you for that. Thank you so much. And you're telling me Ronaldo's not good enough? Come on. By the way, is anybody watching the Euros? I'm loving the Euros. Talk about the Swiss. Switzerland, I cannot believe that entire comeback. That was an unbelievable game. I don't know if you have anybody here from Switzerland, but shout out to you guys. Absolutely incredible comeback. And France won the World Cup. Like, it was just a really, really good game to watch, right? Belgium, Alex says, the years have been shocking. I know, the underdogs are just like really taking off, right? Czech Republic still in it. Belgium is not an underdog, but it can still be one of them. And of course, with Switzerland being in it as well, it's been like really, really fun to watch. Yeah, I was loving it too until Portugal was in it, but now I'm like not very interested. All right, anyway, so less than 2 minutes left for the markets to open. So all right, Aaron Anderson asked, with these huge jumps in stocks, do you think that this is evidence that we're heading in towards a real full market bubble? I don't think so. I don't think there's a bubble. There's gonna in terms of the full stock market, because the economy is improving, the earnings are improving. There's more fundamental growth behind these moves higher, but you can kind of pick and choose. There's specific pockets within the stock market that you can make an argument that yes, these companies are still trading at very, very over exaggerated levels. The valuations are very high, so we really have to kind of pick and choose what we really invest in moving forward, right? All right, let's take a quick look in the markets here. So AMD slightly down about 8 basis points. So Tesla is up over 16, NIO is up over 1.4, and Palantir is up over 1.6% here in the markets, with the Nasdaq up over 0.5%, Dow over 19, and the SPY is up over 28 basis points as well. So one question, who is going to buy Nvidia after the split at 900? Somebody will. If there's a trade that goes through, somebody will end up buying. All right, so we got less than 15 seconds for the markets to open. Let's see where we open and where we trade. So Upstart is up over 1% pre-market. Alright, so the markets are open. We got Palantir up over 1.3. Tesla moving up 25 basis points here. Back up to over 680. And we got NIO also up over 70 basis points. Seeing a little bit of a pullback right at open. AMD trying to turn green here. Let's see if we can break out over $94 once again. Alright, all in all, so the market's kind of mixed, not too bad. AMED, this is on my watch list. Forgot why it was on my watch list, but it's up over, well, it's not. Okay, so that was just a glitch from TradingView. QuantumScape is the only stock that's up over 1.8% right now. Other than that, we got Tesla, slightly green, NIO not really moving, Palantir is up almost 2%, and AMD now starting to pull back once again with NNDM down, Corsair down, Fubo down, Facebook DraftKings. So the Dow 30 stocks, we got Exxon, Chevron, JPM slightly down with Intel up over 1%. So maybe that's why, right? That's why we're seeing kind of AMD pull back a little bit, because Intel is up 1.2. They've just been going back and forth for a really long time. So Coca-Cola, Walgreens had a huge drop yesterday. I'm not really sure how they finished. So let's take a quick look. So they still finished down over 7%. And I think $46 is my level that I'm watching for Walgreens very closely. Alright, the Nasdaq is pushing higher and the Dow is starting to come down a little bit, with the S&P is also forming a red candle. Let's just go over to the 1 minute chart. Tesla moving up nicely now, up over 1%. AMD seeing some weakness, down about 84 basis points, and NIO is also selling off pre-market. Well, actually, after the open here, from pre-market. So it was up over 1% at pre-market, and now we're starting to see a pullback. AMC is down over 3% as well, trading just under $52. $50 is a really important support level to watch for AMC stock, right? If you get a breakdown below this level, then we could potentially be headed for some new lows. Because even on June 22nd, you'll notice that we perfectly validated $50 here, perfectly validated $50 a couple times here, and the last time we traded below that level was on June 11th. Since then, we've just been consolidating sideways. So S is up, that's great. Let's take a quick look. 4.86%. Moving up nicely back up to $42. Let's take a quick look on Vimeo. It was down over 6% pre-market. So it's still pushing higher here. Alright, Tesla just trading shy of 690 here. And we got NIO is down about 0.5%. AMD is down about 1% once again. Why does AMD have so much trouble to move? It's just, I think it's just like stock specific volume that's really low, right? I mean, you've noticed Nvidia, we just broke it down. It took 6 months for Nvidia to actually start moving. Until then, it was not going anywhere since August 2020 till May 2021. 6-month period, or 7 months or 8 months. It didn't do anything, right? It just moved sideways, and now we're starting to see that vertical push higher and a breakout to the upside. So, I mean, stocks can remain in a range-bound pattern, consolidate and move sideways for months, even as far as years. So, and then in one single year or in 1 month or in a few months, it can just go vertically up, right? It can just go up in a straight line. So, it really depends. Long-term fundamentals haven't changed about AMD, so I'm not worried about it. It still have a price target of 110, so I wouldn't worry about the day-to-day fluctuations. I would just watch those support levels if you are going to be adding more on AMD stock. So NIO seeing a lot of weakness here, right? Let's see if $50 holds up, but I do expect some lower highs and lower lows from NIO stock, only because we're continuing to see more downside after the open. So, all right, Virgin Galactic up only 18%. Right now, we're still seeing some downside, down about 10% from the pre-market highs. So coal, we looked at BABA earlier. You can kind of go back on the live stream and check out the analysis on Alibaba stock. But we definitely did take a look at that one earlier. So Tesla, we're going to be watching 690 as high as $700. So strong move from Tesla to the upside. NIO starting to recover a little bit. So we did come down to $50.17 before moving up. But really is the middle VWAP and the 20-watt EMA, those are going to be the two levels to watch intraday. If you don't get a breakout over those levels and make high of days, then I could see some more lower highs and lower lows. Alright, so Walgreens coming down even more. Alright, so Tesla up over 2% now, trading past over 690. Let's see if NIO can break out over $51 here. And Virgin Galactic is seeing some buying pressure kick in once again, right? Look at Tesla. Look at Tesla go. Are we going to finally break out over 700 with this volume? So there we go. We're getting that rejection from NIO from the middle of VWAP, right? That's the rejection that we're seeing. And Tesla at 694 now, up over 2.5%. So really pushing higher. And NIO is struggling at that $50.81, the middle VWAP, like we talked about earlier. All right, 696, up almost 3%. So strong move here. Let's take a quick look at the EVs. So we got Tesla, of course, winning right now with ChargePoint, VW, XL Fleet, Nikola, CCIV coming in behind Tesla here. Still green on the day, but NIO slightly down with Li Auto down, and XPeng is actually slightly green on the day. So Chinese EV companies still doing relatively okay. But for the most part, NIO is slightly down, and Tesla continuing to push higher. 697 is the high for the day. ENPH is also higher. What a beast. So yeah, profitable company for Enphase Energy, up trading as 190 levels. Oh, there we go. We're trading almost at 698. 700. 699 is the high for the day for Tesla. We just need NIO to kind of follow up with it, right? We just need NIO to kind of break out of this middle VWAP so we can get that push higher back up to over $51, $52 per share. All right, so we're seeing some rejection here at 697. Come on, don't do that. Don't get rejected at 699. At least hit 700. Jason says NIO to 47. Jason, you got out. I saw the comment. I'm just kidding. But I'm sure you made a lot of money on it, so congratulations. That's impressive. That's really good. But yeah, Tesla just struggling at 699, closer to $700. NIO finding that resistance once again at the middle VWAP here at 51, almost $50.80. So Cole, thank you so much for that. I'm glad you're liking these live streams a lot, and appreciate the donation. So thank you. All right, Tesla on its way once again, 699.60, 700. There we go. Boom, 700 right on the dot is the high for the day. Let's see if we can actually get a breakout, successful, close above 701, 702. Sunshine Energy NIO to 45, so I can buy more. It's good. So Zach says I'll hope some more NIO at 49.50 with 500 shares. 46.50, second that. Do you see a market pullback anytime in the near future? So here's the deal. With any type of market pullbacks, it's kind of predict to exactly when that's going to happen. We can do a pretty good analysis on the VIX, the VXN, if they're trading at support levels, kind of understand the macro picture, understand on a broader level, what are going to be the cause for a potential pullback if there is going to come a correction in the future. Talk about the RSI, the MACD are trading at overbought levels, but it's really, really difficult to exactly pinpoint the tops and the bottoms for any market. So when we are trading at these overbought levels, the only sort of recommendation I have is to stay alert, right? Be prepared with some buying power available, with some dry powder available. So if you do see one, you have kind of money to kind of get on those deals, jump in and buy more shares. That's the only thing that we can really analyze is our alertness at these different levels, right? When the markets are down 20%, 25%, that's when you want to really start buying, because you're buying so many stocks at a discount. But when we're trading at near all-time high levels, there's going to be opportunities for swing trades. There's going to be opportunities for really, really specific option trades, day trades. Those are all going to be in play every single day. But just from a long-term perspective, you really want to understand that when stocks go up, risk goes up with it. When stocks go down, risk comes down. And we really have to train our mind in being very, very comfortable, right? Very, very comfortable and very, very really buy at those red days, right, when the stocks are coming down. So that's the most important stuff in terms of just psychology there. But Tesla just 700 getting rejected at that resistance here. So we'll see if we actually do get a breakout at 700. And NIO just fighting that resistance at the middle VWAP, right? So we'll see if we actually do get some type of a push higher. So what do I think would be a good entry for Amazon? So Amazon was a great entry at 3,000, 3,200, unfortunately. Because we were consolidating at that level for a really long time. So you'll notice on the daily chart, I mean, we were just there for such a long time. I mean, this entire time we were at close to 3,000. Even here, we were roughly at 3,200, 3,100. So buying at these levels, again, you have to understand that we have moved up over 10%, 11% in the last few weeks, but 34.40 is the near-term support, all the way as low as 33.50 levels, right? That's going to be the two support levels to watch for Amazon moving forward. So there we go. We're seeing NIO break down even more, trading just a little bit over $50 per share, with Tesla also struggling at that $700 level. All right, so Dow Jones starting to pull back a little bit, and the NASDAQ is still pushing up over 68 basis points. The Dow Jones is flat on the day, with the S&P also consolidating, but up over 26 basis points. Yeah, NIO's had a really strong run up in the past several weeks, so we're just waiting for a pullback, and right now it looks like we are going to see one. Yesterday we were down over 4%. Today we're roughly down about 2% so far. So again, as soon as we see these massive drops, right in the first 5 minutes, then it becomes difficult for us to regain momentum, right? Regain that push higher, back up to those middle VWAPs. So you'll notice that we got rejected. For Tesla, I expect an uptrend, right? Because we saw the first 5-10 minutes rally all the way to highs of 700. And even if you do see a pullback, look at all the support levels we have. We've got the middle VWAP, we've got the 21 EMA, we've got the 50 EMA. So the sellers, it's that much difficult for us to break down. Doesn't necessarily mean that we won't, but it's just probability-wise. Tesla, in my opinion, is going to have a strong uptrend, potentially even a breakout over $700 today. But for NIO to recover, I think it's going to be a weak day for NIO. Just telling you guys from the price action and the lower highs and lower lows are already forming for NIO stocks. I think this is simply profit taking for NIO stock right now. NIO's next support is at 49. What was it? 49.50 or 49.60 levels, something like that. So 49.50. That is the next support for NIO stock, all the way as low as 46.50 levels. So I would watch that 49.50 level right there as a support for NIO stock. And the reason, again, previous resistance, previous support here that we validated for NIO. So let's see if we actually come down to 49.50. We're very close, right? We're very close to 49.50 here, to see if we actually get a validation and a support here, and then a reversal or not. So tell us, should we hold Tesla? That's it's kind of a tough question, because what is your price target? What is your analysis? What do you think about Tesla over the long term, right? Is this a long-term position for you? Is this a swing trade? It's just too many things that we don't know about, that we can't really go over exactly whether you should hold Tesla or not. But in my opinion, Tesla, $1,000 price target that I have. Delivery numbers were good today, so 201,250. So I do see a lot more upside over the long term for Tesla stock, which is why it's a hold for me. Alright, so just consolidating sideways at 695. NIO, let's see if we actually do get a potential break back over $50. Zach says, bro, what? Hold Tesla, at least hold some. Hold Tesla forever. Yeah, I mean, long-term Tesla's got a lot of potential, right? If they can execute on those things like robotaxis and energy, and hearing about the power grid as well for potentially solving the Bitcoin problem, there's a lot of potential for Tesla to go up to like a 1 trillion market cap. Tesla definitely, in my opinion, kind of fits that big tech growth $1 trillion club with the likes of Amazon, Facebook, Google, all those companies, because of all the potential that Tesla has. So easily, even if you look at a $1 trillion market cap, we're looking at roughly 100% jump from here, right? For Tesla stock. So it's a hold for me, and I know that it's a hold for a lot of people watching this live stream, but it really depends on what your analysis is on each individual stock and your price target. Alright, so the NASDAQ is up over 72 basis points now, with the Dow Jones pretty much flat. Again, the S&P is up over 30. Tesla's up over 2.5%, with NIO still validating that 49.70 levels on the day. What we really need to see is some volume kick in. And you'll notice how much low volume there was for NIO stock, right? This is like 350,000 shares. Like, are you kidding me? At the open, in the first minute, you can already tell that this is mostly retail and not institution. Because earlier when we saw these push higher, when we saw the NIO stock actually rally higher, we saw incredible volume. I think it was roughly like 2 million, 3 million shares being traded per minute when we were pushing higher, right? For example, this candle right here was over 1.12 million shares. This was the most volume that we have seen since the open. So such a low volume sell-off, in my opinion, this is not a lot of shares, like 300,000 shares. I mean, candles like these, when we have 300,000 shares here, this is going to be 292,000 shares, is a very low volume for NIO to basically sell off on. So this is simply, in my opinion, could be mostly retail accumulated as opposed to institutions rebalancing or selling or whatever. So 49.50, again, we're watching that support level to see if that level gets validated, if we see a bounce back higher to $50. And for Tesla, we're coming down to that middle VWAP and the 21 EMA to see if you get any type of a reversal back up to over $700 per share. So all in all, Shopify up over 2% here. So let's take a quick rundown on the markets. AMC is down over 4%, just hovering over $52. Again, 50 is a very strong support here for AMC. AMD is down roughly 0.5%, just under $93, so not a big deal there. Vertex slightly down about 36 basis points. And then all in all, everything else is pretty green, right? Amazon, Palantir, Spotify, Qualcomm, Coinbase, PayPal, Square, got Nvidia, 8.15, no surprise. Upstart is up 1%. Roblox is back up over 1.37, and we're seeing Enphase up over 3.6, so pushing back over to almost 190. So a quick look on the VIX and the VXN. So the VIX is down over 6% now, and the VXN is down over 3%. So that's definitely pushing the Nasdaq even higher, up almost 80 basis points. SPY over 34, the Dow Jones is up over 11. Alright, so we're seeing that rejection here at $50.17, kind of like aligned with this level. Again, continue to form these lower highs and lower lows, forming some type of a bearish engulfing candle as well. So it's not looking good for NIO. Potentially a breakdown below 49.50 could also be coming up. So S is up almost 10%, Mark. That's awesome. That's incredible. There we go, up over almost 9%, 10% here, pushing past over $43 per share. So next level to watch for S is going to be roughly at this 44.75. Let's go over to the 30-minute chart here. So yep, that right there is going to be the level to watch for S. That's a resistance that we sold off at, and right now we're seeing kind of like a curling back in pattern to potentially retest highs of 44.75. Alright, so we're just starting to consolidate a little bit, right? Let's take a look at the recovery stocks here. Just go over to the SPY holdings. Alright, let's see what's selling off. So we got Carnival, we got Boeing, we got Norwegian, ExxonMobil, American Airlines, Royal Caribbean, JPM, we got CVS, we got Chevron, Delta Airlines. So mostly airlines, cruise lines, and banking and energy. 3 or 4 sectors that are down. So let me just bring up the select sector indices. If you haven't talked about it in a while, or the select sector indices chart. Let's see what's going on over here. Jason, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so drop a like if you guys enjoy the live stream here. So this is going to be a one-day chart. And so far we've got tech leading, of course, up over 72 basis points. So tech is rallying a little bit, with discretionaries coming in at a close second. Staples are following discretionary and tech, and then we got healthcare flat, communication services flat, industrials, financials, materials, energy, they're all in the red. Energy is down over 89 basis points. Where are oil prices trading right now? Alright, so we're seeing a little bit of a pullback for oil. not a huge amount, but slightly down for crude and Brent oil. So, alright, Tesla, again, retesting its middle VWAP and the 21 EMA. Let's see if we actually do get some type of a validation, or if we break down maybe down to 687, 690 levels. That's going to be the 50 EMA that we need to watch moving forward. NEO trying. NEO is trying to stay above $50. Alright, so we got Tesla just over 2%, hovering over that middle VWAP and the 21 EMA. Starting to see a little bit of a breakdown here. Google up 1%. Incredible move, right? Microsoft another 1.2, trading as 274. New all-time high for both Google, Microsoft. Twitter's up another 1.2%. Zoom's doing really well. Apple testing our resistance at 138. So this is the analysis on Apple stock. So we are actually breaking out over 138. So strong move from Apple here. 138 resistance getting broken out. And again, the next target now, well, it's going to be covered in our market update, but the next resistance now is going to be at 145. There we go. That's the next resistance for Apple. New support established at 138. So that right there is going to be the level to watch as a near-term support. Of course, the next resistance, it's at 145. It's a strong move from Apple. So alright, QFIS 18. So Tesla getting rejected by the resistant again. Fanboy we like celebrating because it rose 2% after dropping 30% from its highs. Interesting. I don't know if you're commenting about me or if you're commenting about somebody else that you were watching for Tesla. But thanks. Yeah, we'll take 2%. Right now, I feel like it's still pretty cheap for where it could be a few years from now. So, all right. So NEO's starting to break down below 49.50 levels here. Down about 2.7, and Tesla is now only up over 1.6%. Still coming down drastically. All right, so the broader markets, again, pretty flat here. And the Dow Jones pretty flat here. And again, SPY is up over 33. The NASDAQ not really moving up other than up over 75 basis points. Let's just go back to our four split chart here. Let's take a quick look at Palantir. So Palantir pretty much flat here, and AMD is down about 0.5%. So still consolidating sideways for AMD, right? Alright, so we're going to cover a few more stocks here very quickly, and then I'm going to sign off, spend some time with our Discord members and Patreon members here. But all in all, I think the broader markets are hitting new all-time highs. Almost Dow Jones a little bit, not so much, but NASDAQ is at an all-time high here. So we take a look at the IXIC. Seeing a little bit of a pullback here, starting now, but still 14,600 is the all-time high for the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones is also hitting a new all-time, not a new all-time high, but still pretty elevated from where we were, and the S&P, of course, hitting new all-time highs at 43.33. So definitely pushing higher for the S&P. But expect another weak day from NEO as well, only because this has been the pattern. This is exactly the pattern that we saw yesterday. Just lower highs and lower lows and a lot of selling pressure for NEO. So this was the pattern yesterday, just a lot of weakness, and we're just seeing a follow through and a continuation of that today. Alright, so let's take a quick look at Intel. So Intel pushing higher, up over 1.38%. Maybe this is the reason why AMD is slightly down, but we're just hovering over that 200 SMA. This right here is the gap that I expect Intel to eventually fill. And the reason is very simple, because we did leave a gap here. We were down over 5.3%. So after leaving this gap, we potentially are headed back over to fill this gap that is roughly 10% upside for Intel. And we're also trading above the 200 SMA, which does make for a decent swing trade opportunity or a risk-reward trade-off for us to see some more move to the upside. But the only thing is we need to see a breakout over those moving averages, right? So the 21 EMA, the 50 EMA is sitting roughly at those levels. Alright, so NIO still hovering over 49.50. Tesla's trying to stay back up to over 690 levels. And we got AMD still pretty much flat, and Palantir slightly in the green. So thank you so much for joining in, you guys. We've been doing this live stream for almost 2 hours. We broke down the jobs report earlier, and we broke down a lot of different things related to the markets. But thank you so much for joining in. I really, really appreciate you guys. Also, make sure that you check out the Webull and the Patreon links down in the description below. Yes, so long weekend coming up. Markets are going to be closed Monday. So I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. You will probably see me during the weekend with the videos on some fundamental analysis on different companies. But thank you so much for joining in. And again, make sure the links are going to be down in the description below. Limited spots for our Patreon if you wish to join, and join our private Discord as well with that. So again, thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys. Stay safe out there. Have a great weekend. Love you guys. Take care. See you in the next live stream. Peace.